I hope you all are good. Today I am going to discuss about Rousseau's social contract theory introduction. The second video is on social contract theory Rousseau concept of social contract theory. Social contract theory of Rousseau's introduction. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, an influential figure of the Enlightenment era, was a Swiss philosopher, writer, and composer whose ideas profoundly impacted political theory, education, and literature. Rousseau was born on 20th June 1712 in Geneva, Switzerland. His father was a watchmaker who was exiled for being involved in a duel, while his mother died a few days after giving birth to her son. He was looked after by an aunt and cousin, and then for a time he was taken in by a pastor called Lambertier. Apart from some instruction in the principles of the Catholic faith, Jean-Jacques had no formal education. The great advantage of his new position was that he had plenty of time for reading, and he used this well, making up for lost time on his previously neglected education. In 1740, he moved to the household of Abbé de Mevly 1709 to 1785 in Lyon, where he again taught music. His ideas on political philosophy, education, and human nature have left a lasting legacy on modern thought. From 1724, he worked as an apprentice to a clerk before moving up to work under an engraver. In 1728, Jean-Jacques left his apprenticeship in Geneva, earning small amounts of money doing odd jobs. He ended up in Turin, where he converted to Catholicism. Rousseau's luck changed in 1731 when he found work with noblewoman Louise Eleanor de Warens 1699 to 1762, although the pair had first met in 1728. Rousseau worked as a clerk and taught music in the Warrens household. In his early adulthood, Rousseau traveled across Europe, encountering various intellectual circles and forming friendships with notable philosophers such as Denis Diderot and Voltaire. These interactions, coupled with his self-directed studies in philosophy and literature, laid the groundwork for his later works. Although a believer in the power of reason, science, and the arts, Rousseau was convinced that a flourishing culture hid a society full of inequalities and injustices. His most noted works include the first and second discourse, the social contract, and Emile. His two discourses are foundational texts that examine the nature of human society, the origins of inequality, and the implications of civilization on human morality and happiness. The name of first discourse is Discourse on the Sciences and Arts, 1750. The full title is Discourse on the Moral Effects of the Arts and Sciences. The ideas on his first discourse are corruption of morality. Rousseau argues that the progress of the sciences and arts has not led to the moral improvement of humanity. Instead, it has contributed to the corruption of virtue and morality. Glorification of appearance, the advancement in arts and sciences promotes superficiality and vanity. society becomes more concerned with appearances and less with genuine virtue. Inequality and dependence. As arts and sciences advance, they create new forms of dependency and inequality. The division of labor and specialization lead to increased disparities among people. Nostalgia for simplicity. Rousseau idealizes a simpler, more primitive way of life, suggesting that people were happier and more virtuous before the advent of sophisticated arts and sciences. Critique of Enlightenment optimism. While many Enlightenment thinkers believed in the progress of knowledge and its positive effects on society, Rousseau challenges this optimism, arguing that progress can lead to moral decay. Second discourse on the origin and basis of inequality among men, 1755. The name of the second discourse is Discourse on the Origin and Basis of Inequality Among Men. The key ideas of this second discourse are state of nature. Rousseau describes a hypothetical state of nature where humans live solitary, uncomplicated lives driven by basic needs and self-preservation. Natural versus moral inequality. Natural inequality for Rousseau. There are differences in age, health, physical strength, and qualities of the mind or soul. Moral or political inequality established by human conventions, including differences in wealth, honor, power, and social status. Emergence of private property. Rousseau argues that the establishment of moral inequality, it led to competition, pride, and the desire for domination, fundamentally changing human relations and societal structures. Development of society and government. As societies developed, so did human interactions complexity. The establishment of laws and government further entrenched social inequalities by protecting the interest of property owners and the powerful. Rousseau critiques modern society for nurturing inequality, corruption, and unhappiness. He contrasts this with the perceived simplicity and social equality of the state of nature, suggesting that progress has led humanity away from its original, more harmonious condition. Philosophical implications. The second discourse raises fundamental questions about human nature, the legitimacy of social institutions, and the moral implications of inequality. Rousseau's work influenced later philosophical and political thought, contributing to concepts like the social contract and discussions on social justice and human rights. First discourse focuses on the corrupting influence of the arts and sciences on morality and virtue. Second discourse examines the origins and development of inequality and critiques the societal structures that perpetuate it. Both discourses reflect Rousseau's skepticism of progress and his belief in the inherent goodness of humans in their natural state. They provide a foundation for his later works, including the social contract, and have significantly influenced modern philosophy, political theory, and discussions on equality and human rights. However, Rousseau also warned against the dangers of excessive government control, advocating for a balance between individual freedom and social order. Rousseau's thoughts on education are also noteworthy. One of Rousseau's most famous works, The Social Contract, outlines his ideas on the nature of society and government. In it, he posits that individuals from societies, by entering into a social contract, surrendering some of their natural liberties in exchange for the protection and benefits of community life. He believed that education should focus on developing the natural talents and virtues of each individual rather than simply imparting knowledge. His book Emile presents his ideas on education through the fictional story of a young boy's upbringing. Moreover, Rousseau's ideas on the state of nature, inequality, and the general will continue to be debated and interpreted by scholars and philosophers to this day. Despite his controversial and sometimes paradoxical views, Rousseau's contributions to philosophy and political thought remain significant and continue to shape modern discourse on liberty, equality, and democracy. What is social contract theory for Rousseau? Jacques Rousseau's social contract theory is a fundamental philosophical concept that explores the relationship between individuals and their political community. Here are some key concepts of his social contract theory. The first one we have already discussed about the state of nature. Rousseau believed that in the state of nature, humans were noble savages, living free, equal, peaceful, and happy lives. However, as society developed, inequalities emerged, leading to competition, envy, and conflict. The social contract to overcome the problems of the state of nature, individuals collectively agree to form a society through a social contract. This contract is an agreement to create a community governed by a general will, which represents the common good or public interest. The general will is central to Rousseau's theory. It is the collective will of the citizens that aims at the common good. It may differ from individual wills, which are often driven by personal interest. The general will is always right and just, and laws should reflect it. In Rousseau's view, sovereignty lies with the people and it is indivisible and inalienable. The people exercise their sovereignty through the general will, and any government or leader is merely an agent of the people. Rousseau argued that legitimate political authority only comes from the social contract agreed upon by all citizens. Any government not based on the social contract is illegitimate. Freedom and equality. Rousseau believed that true freedom is found in obedience to laws one has prescribed for oneself. Through participation in the formulation of the general will, equality is also a cornerstone as the social contract aims to balance social disparities. The lawgiver, Rousseau introduced the concept of the lawgiver, a wise and impartial figure who helps design the laws in accordance with the general will, guiding the society towards justice and the common good. Civil religion. Rousseau advocated for a civil religion that supports the social contract by promoting civic virtues and loyalty to the community. This civil religion should be inclusive and not favor any particular religious doctrine. Rousseau's social contract theory has had a profound influence on political philosophy and the development of modern democratic thought, emphasizing the importance of collective decision making, the common good, and the sovereignty of the people. Rousseau's concept of the social contract is a fundamental idea in political philosophy, articulated most prominently in his 1762 work, The Social Contract. Rousseau's theory centers on the legitimacy of political authority and the ways in which individuals can unite to form a collective community while preserving their individual freedom. Unlike other social contract theories such as Thomas Hobbes and John Locke, Rousseau emphasizes the idea of the general will, which represents the collective interest of the people and serves as the source of legitimate authority. Rousseau posits that in the state of nature, humans are free and equal, but the advent of private property and the resulting social inequalities corrupt this natural state. To overcome these inequalities and create a just society, individuals must enter into a social contract agreeing to form a political community governed by the general will. This contract requires individuals to submit their personal interest to the collective good, ensuring that the laws and governance reflect the common interest of all members. The concept of the social contract in Rousseau's thought is not merely a hypothetical construct, but a call to create a society based on democratic principles and collective decision making. It challenges the traditional notions of hierarchical authority and offers a vision of political organization grounded in equality, participation, and the common good. Rousseau's ideas have profoundly influenced modern political thought, inspiring movements for democratic reform and social justice. Implications inspired various democratic movements and ideas, emphasizes the role of active citizenship and participatory democracy. Rousseau's social contract theory offers a profound vision of a just and democratic society. It challenges traditional notions of authority and highlights the importance of collective decision making. Despite criticisms, Rousseau's ideas remain influential in discussions about democracy, freedom, and equality. Rousseau discussed about social contract theory in his Social Contract, which was published in 1762. Men in the state of nature live happily, freely, without any desires and selfishness. This state is regarded as savage state. Rousseau believes that the emergence of man from the primitive social condition must have been due to some fatal chance. Men enter into their civil society for their mutual preservation. According to Rousseau, the individuals, after forming a society, place all their powers not in the hands of the authority, but it remain in the hands of the individuals. General will is the agreement of all individuals, which include the will of all. When the individuals follow law, they follow themselves, as it includes the general will of the individuals. Common good refers to the good of all individuals. As a social being, individuals must think for the good of the society, for his own good. Herewith, we are going to end up the first video on Introduction to Social Contract Theory, Rousseau. You may check your progress by following these 5 questions. You can evaluate yourself by answering these questions too. First one is, what is social contract theory for Rousseau? Second question, define state of nature. Third, what are the key concepts of Rousseau's social contract theory? Number 4, what is the meaning of general will? What is freedom and equality for Rousseau? The last question. So, this is the first video where we have dealt with social contract theory Rousseau introduction. In the next video, we will discuss on social contract theory Rousseau, the concept of social contract theory. Thank you.